yeah, so I mean, I was looking at it, and side by like visually, when you look at it, it's like, ah, it kind of looks like shit. And then you start putting it next to things and comparing it, and it's like, yeah, well, like, yeah, it's not as tight in the crotch. What the fuck, But like,
Where's the bulge?
yeah, where's the bulge, bro? Welcome, Nerd Chatter, a podcast where we discuss stories throughout the last couple of weeks from the film, gaming, and tech industries. I got Lucas with me today. What do I mean?
Yo, what it do?
On this week's show, we go over some Deadpool 3 set leaks and a handful of other smaller stories. But before we get into that, if you guys can hit that like and subscribe, be much appreciated. Fucking Kenny.
Ah, dude. He's useless. He's
Fucking
done.
Kenny.
I'm over him.
Kenny. Unfortunately, Kenny couldn't join us this week. I'm not sure if Garrett's going to be with us next week either. I told him he can be. I was like, more than welcome, but I don't think like this
There may no be reason for you
like
to be here.
there's definitely no reason to like. There's no Star Wars shit. There's no like. We no longer have a reason to expect that show to be like bigger. You know what I mean? Just because like nobody's going to be there. Like literally nobody is going to be there, and then. We'll go over here in a bit with the strike and all that, but that makes it even more
worse.
impossible.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that. But first, did you see some of these new set photos from Deadpool 3?
Yeah, I saw the one with Wolverine, and then I saw the one that's actually like leaking towards like a low-key kind of reveal. And it's like spoiling it for some people, I guess.
What do you mean?
Because like they're showing like kind of like set pictures like the Void.
Oh,
And possibly that Loki may have, or Deadpool like visits the Void, possibly. So some people are like, "Oh,
they're getting a little too spicy with the details.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, they kind of did that. I remember that with being what was it? The Dark Knight Rises, because they were filming in I think downtown Chicago or Vancouver or one of those two, but. People were like hanging out their windows and the buildings, like filming shit. And it's like, okay, well, there's a gigantic jet flying through the streets, chasing after this truck. Dude, it's like, okay, like, all right, bro, like you're a little spicy with these details and shit. I'm more so focused on just the visuals of the character. I mean, Hugh Jackman didn't really have very much time. He was looking pretty. I was saying, he's an older gentleman now.
Right?
Can't really hold that muscle tone like he used to. Although he did get jacked again for it, but not like, we're not talking old school Hugh Jackman.
Previously.
Fucking muscles have like muscles with veins popping out. But, he did fill out a little bit more for it. It was kind of weird seeing him in the hair again with like the points and shit. It just doesn't, I don't know. I think that whole aspect of him without a mask could just be cut. Just from lore in general, I think it's like stupid and shit, but I understand why they do it. It's classic. It's in the comics. I get it, but it was also in the comics because it's just like, this is who this character is when he doesn't have his mask on. Remember that and shit.
This is what he looks like. There you go.
Yeah, so he's defined by these points on his head, so we're gonna give him points in his hair too and shit.
Well, isn't that because like his hair tucks up into
I was gonna say it's like a mold. It's like a fucking cupcake.
He
And
takes
shit.
his half off and it's
It's
just
like,
pointed up and
yeah,
everything.
it's like a dough rising in a
He's
mold.
like, God
and shit.
damn it, man. I wish I had straight hair.
It's like, yeah, he's like, it's actually a real big issue for him. It should be like,
He's
it
like,
should
you
be
know
a
how long
part
it
of the
takes
movie.
me? I
He's
gotta
like,
flat iron it and
and that's explained, like, you never see him with the mask on because it's always off screen and shit. That's why his hair was like that. He was always wearing the mask. You just never saw it and shit. It wasn't by choice. Yeah, so I mean, I was looking at it, and side by like visually, when you look at it, it's like, it kind of looks like shit. And then you start putting it next to things and comparing it, and it's like, yeah, well, like, yeah, it's not as tight in the crotch. What the fuck? But like,
where's the bulge?
yeah, where's the bulge, bro? But like, it's like, yeah, it's there. You know what I mean? The lines, the blue is where it should be. It's like, it doesn't look exactly the same in this spot, but you get the idea. The shoulders, they still got that point, like if he didn't have the sleeves, it would look pretty identical. There's things. And then he also has the metal, I don't know what you would call them, but like the caps on his gloves, like in the cartoons where he has those metal things where the claws actually slide out. it's just a nice touch. And we've always had it just coming out of skin, which looks dope. But in the comics, when he has his suit on, he has those little metal caps on his glove that, like, so he doesn't tear the shit out of his gloves every time he fucking,
Like,
like,
God damn it again.
yeah, but he's trying to pick up shit, they're tearing, you're after, he's like, fuck, God damn it, if I go through these like every fucking day, like hundreds of them.
Seamstress hates me right now.
Yeah, so he's like, he just didn't want to buy gloves, so they just like modified them for him. So like, that's cool. They also, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I saw a side and side comparison of, I think, Deadpool 2 costume design for the character next to this newer one, and the color palette is very much like comic book. It's like they've pulled away from that like dead burgundy muted color to more of a vibrant like hot rod red, a Marvel red, you know what I mean? Like it's got that more Marvel pop. It's not too much, but it's definitely it's tilted more towards that brighter Marvel color palette, which is nice. That's something that I liked personally. But again, you got post production where adjustments could be made, and even Wolverine's suit's pretty bright. It might be toned down a little bit just in post. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I was gonna say it looks really bright, but it's probably just for like the camera to catch the light and shit.
Exactly. You want that, right? You want and that I didn't put it in here, but there's some like technology that some people were making fun of, where I think it was like Netflix is like, we got this new technology where we're just going to bathe everybody in a magenta light when we're filming, and then have them along a green screen that's lit differently, separately, so that the difference is so dramatic that it makes the, what do you call it? What are the artifacts around your head and shit when you're in front of a green screen? That little fuzzy, where it's just really hard for green screens like the chroma key to be successfully pulled out when, it's like, it's hard to do green screen work. So that's why the volume exists and stuff like that, so, I digress. But it's just like, Netflix is fucking around with some stupid shit where they're just like making actors act in solid magenta light, and just because it's easier in post to manipulate. Eyes. Yeah, it looks completely uncomfortable and stuff like that.
That shit would hurt.
But yeah, I digress. With the color palette of the characters, the slight modifications to his suit and shit, I'm like, all right, I'm vibing it. Heard some talk from I think it was one of the execs or producers or something like that on Deadpool 3, where they're just like, the tone is the same. Like it's a hard R. It's not Marvelified, it's not Disneyfied. It's still that Fox type, product. So, I'm pretty stoked for it. However, I mean, we'll talk about it. I guess we could get into it here pretty.
What was it, Fox? They have like on the set, they showed one of the pictures is like the Fox logo.
Yeah, the 20th century. Yeah, and it's all like crashed down. I don't know how meta that's going to be, but I mean, there was never literally a 20th century monument like that, a sign. So I don't know like what the context behind that is going to be.
It's probably like a joke when it's like probably like a slow motion. Like Deadpool does a lot of slow motions and the stupid song in the background. So it'll probably be something like that, I bet you.
Well, also too, even with I forget what it is. It's like Days of Future Past or whichever one, maybe First Class. I think it was First Class actually, but the one where Xavier, Magneto, and all them are in the yellow suits. Like, it's very similar to the yellow from the stills of Hugh Jackman. You know what I mean? So he may be from that type of world. Also, people are speculating that because Xavier in Multiverse of Madness had the same color scheme for his wheelchair, that he might actually be the Wolverine from that world. Which we also might get a Tony Stark, a Tom Cruise Tony Stark appearance. That was the original casting for Tony Stark, and it's kind of hinted that they were going to, you never see Tony Stark from that world. The one with Reed Richards and Xavier and all them. So this Wolverine may be what this is my theory, is like he's trying to get to Wanda. Like he's trying to get to the world, like the Earth that Wanda is at, the real Wanda, the one that that infiltrated, the body of the other Scarlet Witch and had her go in and fucking murder everybody.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So like he's maybe, maybe hopping along with Deadpool to try and get to Earth 199999 or whatever it is, the movies. Because there has to be some type of callback to the massacre that she had in that movie. Like she destroyed characters that are super important. Like Reed Richards' kid is the strongest character in Marvel history, and she just turned him into spaghetti. You know what I mean? So it's like there's got to be some retribution for the actions. You know what I mean? So the color palette matching there might lend to that. So that's a little bit my speculation, is maybe he's from that world post Wanda killing like everybody and shit, including snapping Xavier's neck. Maybe he's going for a little bit of like, a revenge and shit. He's hopping. And then maybe like Loki, because he's part of the TVA or whatever, they're trying to stop him and shit. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm kind of stoked because this is like, this is gonna be so fucking like, it's gonna be clusterfuck. There's gonna be so much random shit like this.
I was gonna say,
like,
you think that's kind of like overdone though, with the whole multiverse like hopping and
100%. But it has to be with that character because it's the only thing. It's like really one of the few characters that could pull off that type of story. You know what I mean? Like he's so fourth wall breaking. He's so meta that it's an easy way to kind of lightheartedly integrate this gigantic business merger that completely fucked up everything and like, like it everything has to get sorted out, and this character is like the perfect one to where you kind of sit there and accept it to be a clusterfuck because you're going to be jumping from like world to world to world. Like I said, possible Tom Cruise Iron Man appearance. We know for a fact, and even the thumbnail for this episode is going to be Jennifer Gardner as Elektra and Ben Affleck as Daredevil. Are already
Jennifer back at it, bro.
Yeah. Have you seen their daughter?
It looks exactly like her.
It's insane.
It's creepy, dude.
The most insane thing I've ever seen. I was like,
you talk about a clone.
That is a clone.
Yeah.
And like I like the memes where it's just like, damn, well, Ben's genes didn't even try.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that. I was like, dude, his genetics had no play in any of that baby making.
Holy shit. Yeah, like insane. Actually fucking insane. So
it's like she had a baby herself. That was it.
Yeah, there was immaculate conception and shit.
Yeah.
Literally like yeah, whatever. That was a fucking segue, but I remember seeing that like last week. I was like, "What? That's not Jennifer Gardner." I was like, "Damn, she's looking really good for her age." She's like, "No, that's her daughter."
No, that's
like,
her daughter.
Oh fuck, that's possible? Like, holy shit. Whatever. That's weird. Anyways,
that's what I'm saying. Is like you're gonna have all these cameos, and it's gonna be. You definitely know there's gonna be so much hopping around in this movie. I'm gonna be fucking confused.
Well, I don't think you're going to be confused because literally what you're probably going to see is going to be destroyed. Like literally the Fox universe is going to be destroyed. Like that's what that is. That's why you see the 20th Century Fox logo in rubble and like there's just he's hopping timelines, basically destroying them because he's an idiot. He's Deadpool.
Yeah. And then definitely you look at the set photos and it's like it's definitely a fight scene between him, Wolverine, and Deadpool.
Yeah, where he like chucks him through a wall.
Yeah,
and shit, and
it looks like he ripped off his arm too.
It looked like it was just something for Hugh Jackman to throw so they could map camera movement, and then time it to where, it's like, okay, when this thing hits the ground, pull him, and then like it did, it only went halfway, so. It's probably like just movie magic, you know what I mean? But he's looking a little old. His movements and shit.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Hugh Jackman's like struggling a little bit, but
I'm back.
I mean, he'd still pop in my head like a zit. Motherfucker got huge, but before when he was first cast for it, like he looked like he was starving and shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just stoked. The thing is, and we'll get into it again here in a bit, but with the strike, they literally just stopped production. Like they just halted. Yep. They walked off set. So it's paused right now. This is like a few days ago we saw these pictures and then just like a flip of a switch, everybody just stopped
and
working.
It's gone.
Yeah.
You like these pictures? You getting excited?
I mean, that's a passion project for them, so we're definitely going to get that. Like,
3 years from now.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds will see to it and shit. But yeah, I did mention it. Jennifer Gardner and Ben Affleck making cameos. I mean, I wonder if they're going to just be in their characters, like just themselves, not in costume. It'd be dope if they gave Ben Affleck like a redesign on his costume, like because it was pretty bad in those movies. It was like just the headpiece was like really bad, but
It was a long time ago.
it was. I mean, that was like fuck. That was like an early one. That was like Punisher. It was like that old Punisher
Yeah.
Warzone type shit. But yeah, it's cool to see them. I haven't seen Jennifer Gardner like in forever. I think I've seen like a couple pictures like last year, but it might have been her fucking daughter for all I know. But
Maybe that's who she's gonna have play her.
Yeah.
That's who they're gonna
a
have
flashback. They got
It's-
Ben
yeah,
Affleck
exactly.
de-aged all weird and shit.
before she became Elektra.
Yeah, I mean they have the Electra movie, so fucking chew on
There
that.
you go.
But yeah, those were the first two little topics there. Deadpool 3 set images. Check them out. I probably threw them up on the screen. If I didn't, it's because I was lazy and shit. And then, yeah, those two returning as cameos. We may still have, we still may have an alternate version of Xavier pop up. We may have a Beast show up here and there. You know what I mean? Like, we may see X-Men. Different X-Men from different universes, completely separate, that aren't even what we're gonna get, just a different representation of them, maybe the darker storylines from the more recent runs of X-Men and shit. So I mean, we'll see. Cyclops being a villain in the comics is actually pretty fucking dope. So yeah. I'm stoked. You hyped? You gonna watch that shit?
I mean, yeah, when it comes out, like I said, 3 years from now.
Yeah, 3
Yep.
years. I mean, we could jump into it right now. I mean, the SAG-AFTRA, they
Like, nothing's
hopped
coming
in.
out.
They hopped in with the writer strike. SAG is Screen Actors Guild. Is actually one of Liz and I used to work with them. They were one of our clients over at that place that we worked at in Laverne.
That place.
I remember. I forget who one of the texts was, but he used to be like, "Damn, those people are weird, bro." He's like, "I hate going there. They're fucking weird." He's like, "They just say weird shit. They do weird shit." He's like, "I don't know. They're just weird." But that's a big one. You know what I mean? Because these companies were just like a few days ago, from when we're recording this, they were just like, "Well, the idea is to basically just keep this going until they start losing their houses and apartments and shit." That was a loose quote, paraphrasing right there, but it's fairly accurate as to exactly what they said. Bold face just flat out said, "We'll just hold off until they start starving to death and shit."
That's ridiculous.
It's
Because I mean,
ridiculous.
the writers has been going on for like what, over 70 some days now.
It's been a while,
I think.
but now that SAG is in there, it's like you might be able to live without actors or live without writers, but you're not going to live without actors and shit. You need actors to be in these movies to make you money. So
Not when you have
get your shit
AI.
together. One of the thing was the AI thing, and that one
Yeah.
is weird. This was like shoehorned in at the last second, or was tossed into their proposal. Was that they would be able to like digitally scan background artists and then be able to use their likenesses in any production for ever without any
For
limitations.
all eternity.
With no limitations and no compensation to that person whatsoever.
My main gripe was like, okay, so like you write a song like in the 80s, right? And then it dies out, and then you get it used in some random TV show. You get a royalty for it, right?
Yeah, you get a royalty. Yeah.
Why not just do that for the people that you use in the background?
Yeah, I mean, they're typically background actors just get like, here's
They're like-
300, 400 bucks for the day of work.
Yeah, so give them $100 then. Send them a check.
Because I mean,
They're like NPCs.
because the way that Hollywood works is different than some fucking business, and like that's a problem that people I think have with just appreciating how this all works. Is like, it's not working at fucking Costco. It's not working at fucking Amazon. This is a talent based, market. You know what I mean? It's based off of like what you bring to the table, and it's based off of popularity and notoriety. You know what I mean? It's a completely different game. So my thing is like, if they did have some agreement where they're basically insured jobs, a consistent, job, would that mean that they were going to be forced into a show like Superman and Lois because it's just how things work now? They're in a queue. They're just a writer on payroll, and they got to have something to work on, Like if that's something to try to avoid, like I get that. It really should be left up to who is the best for that particular job at that particular moment. You know what I mean? It's like you're really good at writing drama scenes, like dramatic dialogue, between two individuals. And then this particular episode of this particular show is going to be really strong on that. So that person would be the best writer for this episode. And that works out to be one of the better episodes of the season, yada, yada. It's like, does that stuff kind of stop when you start like forcing writers into positions? Like that just might be my misconception as to like
pulling a gun to their head and you write that.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to write a chick flick.
You better write it.
Write about that.
That shit sucks.
So it's like that's my thing. I don't know the vibe on that. Then I started reading all the other stuff that the studios are doing, where it's like, with streaming, the percentages are like way stupid low, royalties are like non-existent practically, and the whole AI shit, and just they're being scummy, 100%. They do need
Bob Iger though is sending some shots out there. Did you read that?
I did read that. I think it was probably the most civil. I think it was the most civil of the responses out of them all, and it is true. However, it's still on the side of the studios, which, I mean, obviously he's going to be like, obviously
he's making like 26 million a year. Of course he's going to be on the side of the studios.
Yeah. And like,
he is a studio.
And that's the thing is like, you don't make that money by giving a fuck about other people and shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know why people expect people with that type of money to give a fuck about other people. They didn't get there by doing that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
he doesn't have a heart. He never had a heart. And that's why he's at where he's at.
So. I think he does have a heart, but at the same time, he favors business over anything because he is a businessman. He's a successful one because of it.
He's not an actor.
He knows how to separate the two. Yeah, he doesn't fall within those categories of payroll, and he plays a different game. He doesn't. I mean, I get it. I'm not demonizing even fucking Daslov. I'm not. Of course, those fools are gonna say that shit. And people that would think otherwise are just naive. You know what I mean? It's like, of course they are. Well, like, what do you think? What head of studio is gonna be like? You know what? These people are right. We are as shitty as they say we are.
I feel bad.
I'm sorry. Like it's this sense of naivety where people, it's like, I don't care if it sounds naive and foolish and obvious. I'm going to say it really aggressively because it makes me mad. And me being mad is what's important, not how obvious what I say is. Like, shut the fuck up, idiot. Like, just shut the fuck up. No shit. Like, no fucking shit. The head of a fucking studio is gonna say something like that. Like, why are you upset? Well, he didn't even need to make that statement. You should have just assumed that that's what he would have said. But he did say it in a manner that was relatively civil compared to other people who are just like, we'll wait till they fucking starve to death and shit.
I mean, that's the best line though.
It was. And you know what? It kind of gave me a hard on and shit. I was like, you know what? I liked it. I liked it.
We're just going to smoke them out, right?
I want to be on that side, bro. I want to be on that side. Fuck these fools and shit. You know what I mean? So it's like a part of me that capitalistic, like, lion type approach where it's just like a dog, doggy dog and shit. I do get a slight chubby from here and shit like where it's just like, you know what? Yeah, fuck you, motherfuckers. Like, I agree. I don't care who it is, as long as somebody's getting fucked over. Fuck you.
I didn't know Fran Drescher was actually still relevant, and she was the president.
Fucking rocked it, bro. She fucking she shit down their fucking throats.
I was like, of all people, Fran Drescher is your president.
I mean, the way that she elaborated that, I was watching her speeches, and yeah, she ain't fucking around. She's not going by script. She's going by fucking
feelings.
Yeah, she's talking like we're talking right now. You know what I mean? It's just like, fuck this. You people are fucked. Like, this is ridiculous. So yeah, they're gonna get fucked. They're gonna get super fucked. They gotta have some type of ace under their sleeve where something about this has to benefit them as well. And although the actors hopped in at some point, might inconvenience them for a short period of time, something about this has to be benefiting them, whether it be just an outright hiatus on production for 3-4 months saves them, I don't know, $1.5 billion in expected profits. You know what I mean? Like, which they can recoup pretty easily once people are deprived of content and come back. Like, there's got to be some type of approach, especially for them to be willing to be like, fuck these motherfuckers, let them die. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be some type of ace in the hole or whatever.
You just had that Russian in the background. If they die, they die.
If they die, they die. So I mean, it's pretty fucked up. Obviously, I side with the writers and the directors and the actors and stuff that are on the picket lines. Obviously, like, because I'm in this side of the fucking the fence and shit. I'm
I
not.
mean, I feel bad not just for the not the actors or anybody because they're still living on money that they made from like back in the day. But what about like the crew? Like
The grips and all
say
that
like
shit.
Deadpool. All of a sudden you're like, yeah, right on. We're gonna start working on Deadpool. You start working, and it's like, all right, we're done.
Yeah, that one's weird. That one mainly because the actors. You know what I mean? Like they were still producing shit when the writers were on strike.
Right, because they were like, oh, it's already
actors,
written.
it's already
So
written.
it's
Yeah, and I think they even said like the first episode of. I just read it just like an hour or two ago. I forget. So the first episode, of The Last of Us has already been written. So technically they could produce it. It's like, why would you do that? And why did you even say that? Who gives a shit?
that's cool. You tickle the tip, and then you just kind of left me alone.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you wrote the first episode, which will probably be the least like episode and the cause of the entire series tanking.
Yep.
Not going to spoil it, but I can assure you that, if you're there to watch for certain reasons, that reason's probably going to be fucking gone and shit. So yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm telling you right now that if I was like working my way up through that company and that's the side that I chose is like the corporate aspect of it, and I did see people in these industries because I mean, working in like the construction management aspect of what I did, down in Santa Ana, it's kind of that same thing, you know what I mean? Like they're kind of just tools. Like you got a job to get done, and these are your fucking like hammers and screwdrivers and shit, and you need to send this crew of fucking hammers over there to beat the shit out of that wall until it's fucking gone. You know what I mean? Like that's just that you're controlling it in a different way. You know what I mean? So I mean, if you're coming from it from an executive perspective, I think that's also something people have a hard time like distancing themselves from, or relating to, is unless you actually work in a managerial capacity, it's kind of hard to get that vibe. You know what I mean? Like I've had account manager positions and just like tenured positions, even at like Meadows and shit. You know what I mean? Like you just and with that construction management shit, it's similar to that, where you have a bunch of different crews doing different things, much like you'd have grips and cameramen and audio and lighting and yada yada yada. Everybody's has to function at the same time, like an orchestra. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I can see it. You detach yourself from that humanity. I get it.
You're looking at the bigger picture. You're like, I got this, studio that we got to keep afloat.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not going to hurt me to shut down for 2 months.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's a necessary evil, right? If those people weren't there doing that, then the actors would not be getting paid the tens of millions of dollars that they're getting paid every year.
They just handed out a bunch of Walmart applications to everybody.
Like McDonald's and shit. I mean, I saw some McDonald's signs where it's $21 an hour.
I mean,
Yo,
you jump on that In-N-Out,
put you through college, fool.
Bro,
They
dude.
will literally put you through college and then help you start your own In-N-Out and shit.
Seriously.
Fucking God, love In-N-Out. Everybody that talks shit on In-N-Out needs to fuck off. They just don't even know. Yeah, Five Guys, my ass, bro. Enjoy your $16 fucking cheeseburger, bro. Like,
Oh, you want fries? That's extra. On
exactly. Oh, you want a drink? That's extra. Oh, you want fries? That's extra. Like, get out of my face. $11 cheeseburger plus $8 of extra shit.
Fucking soggy.
Nah, In-N-Out. It's exactly what you need it to be. It's delicious. It's always right, for one thing. It's always made well.
It's never like, this
hot.
is gross.
Yeah.
I've never said that about In-N-Out.
Never. It's super. You cry. I remember me and Jen used to like eating it like 1 o'clock in the morning on the side of the road and shit. Like in fucking Harold and Kumar and shit. It was like that. We would do that. It was so good. But like $7 for a meal, and employees are getting paid fucking like $20 an hour. They got like health benefits, and they get like put through like managerial training.
It's hard to get into In-N-Out too.
I mean, rightfully so, though. Shit,
you gotta know somebody,
motherfucker. You need to get your shit together if you're gonna go
know
work
the
at
family
In-N-Out.
of In-N-Out in order to get in there.
Like you need to. You ain't flipping burgers at that point and shit. You're a a Michelin star chef. You're flipping shit at lightning speeds and running around and working in a fucking a closet sized area. Poor people. It's always such a small little area that they
It's
work
gotten
in.
bigger now. It's gotten bigger.
It depends. Like the one
The
in Ontario,
standalone ones
like
are
the
actually
video.
being phased out. The little double drive-throughs. I'm kind of sad. They're being phased out. They knocked down one and remodeled it and made it a single drive-through.
Kind of necessary. Kind of necessary.
No, I love the double drive-through.
They cause so much traffic.
No, dude, I love the fucking. No, I feel like the single line does now because it bleeds out into the street, and then it's like.
Yeah, true.
They make you like snake through this fucking.
The one in Pomona was
lot.
like that. The one in Pomona was a 2-line, but it started off as one, so it doesn't matter. And then the one in was it Whittier or the one over by my mom's and shit is a single, I think it is, and they have like that wrapping line and through a parking lot. People still end
like
up
a
in the
Disneyland
street,
line, dude. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah, but you know what that means? Quality. Motherfuckers
Exactly.
willing to wait in line for a fucking cheeseburger. It's been going on for decades.
And then all you do is tell yourself, it goes by quick.
Yeah, it's like,
40 minutes later, sitting in line, is like, okay, I got my food.
It's whatever, bro. It's a whatever burger. It's like, all right, bro. I'm fucking sitting here eating my meal for fucking $8 and shit.
It's not I don't even know what whatever burger is or what a burger is. What it is.
Yeah,
a Whataburger.
Yeah, and there
Get
one,
out
I
of
think
here,
there's one
stay in
in
Texas.
Montclair, I think.
Is there?
I think there's off the freeway over by
I don't
that.
think
In
it's.
and
I
out.
don't think a Whataburger is made over here.
No, I think there is. Oh, it's Waba Grill.
What? Dude, what the fuck?
I mean, the sign. The sign.
I don't think they're here in California.
Yeah, no, it's like Texas or whatever. I think.
Yeah, it's
like
only in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of Waba Grill, not
Definitely not
Whataburger. My bad.
Oh, God.
Anyways, like,
Put your glasses on, dog.
yeah, fuck up. Yeah, I only smoked a couple times and shit. But yeah, anyways.
Back to the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah. Hey, our hearts go out with you guys. Best of luck on your endeavors. The AI
whatever
shit
you
is
do, whatever you guys do, reflects on us because then we have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, we might just stop talking about it. Just because, I mean, to be honest, it's getting a little bit fucking rough gathering up this news and shit. And all of a sudden, it's going to get a lot fucking harder.
Literally scraping.
I've been bitching on Threads. We're on Threads. It's Nerd Chatter show.
Instagram version 2.0.
It's just not. It's not as cohesive as gathering news and headlines as it is Twitter. But Twitter is fucking like the comment section is just littered with people that are paying to force their opinions down people's throat. Everything is political. Like it's so fucking disgusting. It's either bots, OnlyFans chicks in the comments, which is always funny. I love that. And then oh well, this is Biden's fault, or oh, this is Trump's fault. It's like, bro, you people fucking
give it time though. Give it time. Everything always becomes something what it was. So it's just like give it time.
What give time? I mean, the only way
Threads
that Twitter
will be Twitter, and it'll just be just as toxic.
Well, they have different safeguards in regards and different rules as to what you can say and shit. You know what I mean? Like you can't you can really lay into somebody on Twitter. Used to be able to lay into somebody on Twitter, but Instagram and like Threads, they would just ban you for like harassment and bullying and shit. So it's a little different. You're not going to get that same vibe. Twitter was kind of like the Wild West, but it was like a funny slapstick Wild West. You know what I mean? Like it was fucking Blazing Saddles and shit. But now it's just a cesspool of like racism and sexism and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just disgusting. So I hate being there. I've pretty much just stopped using Twitter, and like somebody's been using Twitter since like 2000, like I don't know, 9 or whatever, 2008 or some shit. Like it's been a fucking minute. You know what I mean? Like it's just common, and to be doing something that consistently for so long, to just easily stop using it like I have is a pretty bad sign. You know what I mean? Like I should have gotten like the itch to like go back and like, oh, maybe I could find some funny shit, but it's like, nah, I don't even want to go there, bro. It's fucking nasty. Like it makes my phone stink and shit. It's like having it on there and shit. Bro. Yeah, it's fucking gross. So Threads has been nice because it is a little tamer. My issue with it though is like you just can't find shit. And this is the segue into, what we're talking about next here was Threads and Elon and Zuck. Um, the release of Threads, it literally a 100 million follower dick drop, right on Twitter's fucking cheek, dude. Like an absolute just mic drop that they did with that. It's 100 million, I think, the first week, and then like 11 or 12 million the second week.
Yeah, it's like died down.
That's just how things work. You know what I mean? It's always the case for everything. Book sales, movie sales.
I don't know. I feel like
everything.
people are on the same train as me, though. I just feel like it's just Instagram, dude. Like, I can't.
Depends on what you use Instagram
I'm
for.
trying to see
like,
what you're seeing. I don't see it.
I don't think I've ever even considered Instagram as a means of like pulling information. You know what I mean? Like you use Instagram as almost like people use Twitter, where it's like you're being fed your news and headlines and stuff through the places that you follow, because that's just how they do it. But really, Twitter or Instagram it's just an image sharing social network. It's not intended to have conversations, comment sections, and GIF sharing and that type of thing, polls and all that stuff. That's what Twitter is, you know what I mean? And that's what Threads is trying to be. And that's why they're two different things. We talked about it earlier, where it's like, I think if they're to find a way where you can make an Instagram post a thread post as well, to where maybe you click it or you click a link underneath the picture and it opens up the, I don't know, in the Threads or the Twitter type of post over there on Threads, so you can actually click the links and visit things, and like, because there's no interactivity when it comes. You can't even post a link in the fucking description of your images on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go through some weird shit like IGN does, where you scroll to their bio and you click their bio, and then it has mirrors of the articles
Instagram
that they
page.
posted, and and then you click a link and then it takes you to their IGN website. It's like, what? Like on Instagram, on Twitter, it's just somebody posts an article, you click it opens up a sub window where you can read the fucking article and you can close it, then you can comment. You can't do that on Instagram. You can't even do that on Threads right now yet. You can't. I mean, you can, obviously. You can post links, you can post stuff, but there is no like just nice and easy play a video on Threads like you do on Twitter and stuff like that. So there's minor stuff that's going to be added to make it feel more like Twitter. But the thing is I just think that, I don't think as many people use Instagram the way that like you use it particularly. Solely. Like, it's like me, I still follow pages that kind of deliver news the way that you get it there too, that we were
use
doing
it as my Google.
Yeah, it's like, I don't no, it's just, if I want to see some funny videos of like dogs and shit, and like, maybe some people fucking acting like idiots on a golf course, like, that's what I go to Instagram for. You know what I mean?
You gotta
like,
watch your cringe videos, bro. You gotta
and,
get your daily dose of cringe videos.
Ugh.
Those are the ones that they send you with the neck beards.
Yeah, it's
Those
pretty
guys are great.
But like, like, it's just, that's what it's, what I mean? That's what really what that's for. And then Twitter, on the other hand, is like, here's an article about, the fucking, the writer strike, and you click it and you can get all this information. That makes our job easier when it comes to gathering and putting things together. You know what I mean? So Twitter still has that. Threads does not, but they're working on it. A number of things that the main guy from Threads is like, no, we're going to do that. We're also going to do like trending tabs. We already have these things in other applications that we have, like Facebook and Instagram. So obviously we're going to integrate them into this as well. So features that you are already used to, like probably direct messaging as well, is going to be integrated into Threads eventually. They might even share, you know what I mean? I think the interactivity between the two the applications, that's really what they should focus on, where even using Threads is just an extension of your already existing Instagram experience. You know what I mean? Where it's almost unnoticeable, once they get to that point, then it's game over for Twitter. It's fucked. The other one was the Elon and Zuckerberg MMA fight.
That's never gonna happen.
Hear about all that?
It's never gonna happen.
Elon needs to shut the fuck up, bro. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, literally.
Zuckerberg just like upgraded his belt too.
Yeah, he just like
legit, legit rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never gonna happen.
He specializes in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is basically dry humping and shit. So I mean, yeah, he might be able to choke him out, but I don't think Zuck is.
You're gonna spark some people, bro.
Yeah, I don't think Zuck's gonna fucking. Hey, if you want to spark some people, fucking, I hate MMA. Period. I grew up triggered my fucking nuts. I don't give a fuck. Like, MMA is fucking legalized dirty fighting, bro. Like, if you're gonna kick a man in the face and consider it a win, shit, that's bitch shit. I grew up watching Tyson and Holyfield and fucking, Lennox Lewis and fucking Sugar Shane Mosley, bro. Went to my elementary school. Like, elementary school. Like, I grew up
Still
watching fucking, yeah, hell yeah, full fuck Sugar Shane. Come on now. Like, I grew up in a boxing household. I did a little bit of training for boxing at one point, like casual and shit. Really considering going to that boxing gym that was right next to my house, but never did. But it's like, we grew up in boxing where two men beat the shit out of each other with their fists until one of them fell on the ground. And that person stood there and waited for them to get up so they could drop their ass again. Like, that to me is like how men fight. You know what I mean? Like, that's it's a science, it's a dance, it's like the whole spiel about boxing. MMA fighters trying to step into a ring with like full-blown trained boxers is like, it's like getting in there ass naked with the bull. You know what I mean? Like, those guys, their head movement is lightning fast, their hand movement is twice as fast. Like, they're dodging each other, while simultaneously taking shots and shit, and it's like, yeah, I know that MMA fighters are like, trained and they got all their talents and shit, but really just the concept of MMA fighting in particular, it's new for one thing. And to me, it's like bitch shit. It's like, it's also clown shit. I mean, I know that people lived up in boxing, even back to Muhammad Ali and shit, talking it up a little bit, but a lot of these MMA fighters are just obnoxious to even like look at. You know what I mean? Like, just the way they like on their weigh-ins and shit, the faces they make, their celebrations.
You gotta draw in the crowd, bro.
Oh my god, just like, fuck.
You don't do that, you don't make
clown
money.
Shit. Like, it's just clown shit.
They don't make very much money.
It's clown shit. Not to mention Dana White's a prick. He's a fucking woman beater and shit. So like, fuck all that. Fuck that whole thing. Fuck all that. And like, I know boxing can be corrupt and all this shit. To me, it's just traditional. That's how two men fight. Standing up, knock each other down, get back up and do it again. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, you don't dry hump and stick your crotch in somebody's face until they tap out and shit. Like, that's bitch shit. You want to slap him? You gonna slap him? You gonna spank his ass too while you're down there, homie? Like, what the fuck? Like, absolutely, whatever. Get triggered. Fuck all y'all. Fuck MMA. It's dog shit, and everybody involved with it, and on like the managerial sides are fucking scumbags, and kiss my ass.
I started this rant.
Anyways, first trailer for Willy Wonka. But yeah, the MMA fight is not going to go down because Elon's mommy got into the tweets and said, how about we have a joke fight instead?
A joke fight? What's a joke fight?
Oh, well, they said, and whoever has the
like
best
a roast
joke wins. No, yeah, exactly.
So it's a roast.
Like a roast battle and shit. And then Elon proposed an actual literal dick measuring competition. This was all his idea, by the way. This was him being, in somebody's replies being like, I'm down if he's down. I'll fight if he fights. It's like nobody even, it's like nobody even, bro, like, did you even look into this concept before saying that? Because Mark Zuckerberg, although he's a nerd, he's like kind of lean, he will probably kill you. Like,
definitely.
He's trained. Like, he definitely knows how to beat the shit out of somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing and shit. He might have a hard time, like, fighting somebody who's better than him, but I doubt he would have a hard time fighting somebody who doesn't know shit.
Doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah. Actually fucking clown shit. It's a fucking cartoon, bro. Like, it's an actual cartoon. He backed out, kinda. I don't know what's going on with that whole deal because his mommy came in and all that, but Yeah, that whole thing was, and Mark Zuckerberg just sitting there being like, "Hey, fool, I'll fight you if you want to fight." Like,
I mean, I'm still
hey,
down.
it was like, I'm down, but he's like, you don't have to, you don't have to twist my arm and shit. We can get this going, you
I
know. So
mean, we can still go for it. Let's
yeah,
go.
like that's his mentality. So I mean, Elon is literally just a bitch. You know what I mean? He's just such a bitch. And this whole thing, he also owes $500 million to employees that he fired
Yeah, he should probably fix
wrongfully.
that first.
Yeah, they also their hosting is fucked. What was it, Google? I think it was their hosting is like millions and millions and millions of dollars in debt. You know, that's why people are speculating as to why they put a cap on how many tweets you could view in a day, just because of bandwidth and shit. A number of weird, stupid things happening over on Twitter. So if you're into Twitter and like you look at threads and you're like, yeah, well, whatever, it's like, bro, it's the lifeboat, I guess, by this point, because it's where everybody's already gone. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
the fact that people can easily carry over their followers from Instagram to their threads account is game changing. You know, people that have already put in the work to expand on one social media who can easily expand into another without having to rebuild it's refreshing for people that have gone through that. You know what I mean? Trying to build a reputation or some type of following online, it can be a pain in the ass. And at least for people that are trying to get recognition and notoriety and stuff, this is a little bit easier for them. So I like it. It's still meta. They're evil. The damage they've done to the world is immeasurable. True devil shit, like Satan incarnate. But fuck Elon Musk. Well, was an idiot and shit. But fucking kick his ass, Zuck. Yeah. But yeah, moving on. Willy Wonka, fool, you hyped and shit?
No, no.
What is that? Like, I was like,
What is that, dude? Okay, so it's like the beginning story of Willy Wonka, right?
yeah,
It's the prequel
origin. It's the
origin
story.
story.
Yeah,
But what? Stop.
yeah. I
Can I
don't
just?
know if he was the right character or right actor for that part. After I saw all the acting, I was like, I'm not 100% sure. You know what I
I
mean?
watched
Like,
it twice. I had to watch it twice just to kind of get the idea of what
yeah.
was going on with it,
I hate
and
the kid
I don't like
character.
it.
I already hate the kid character. Like, I hate in every movie, especially Black Adam, for fuck's sake. But I just hate shoehorning in the kid side character that tags along and gives him somebody to talk to. Like, I hate it. Also, the Oompa Loompa was like,
Hugh Grant.
yeah, Hugh Grant was like, like,
I was looking at the cast like on Google, and I'm like, what? Who are these people?
I mean,
You
you read the
know?
original book, it's pretty fucked. It's not. It's one of those. You know what I mean? Where it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a kid story. You know, they made that movie. It was who made it? It was like Hershey's or Mars or something like that. They needed to sell chocolate, so they like funded that movie and shit. I swear to
Like,
God, like that's like the story behind it. They wanted to sell some, and then because they had to recall the chocolate just before the movie came out, the chocolate didn't even release when the movie came out, so it was like a waste.
oh, sad.
However, if I see a Wonka bar just sitting on a shelf at a store, like I will buy that just because. Fuck yeah.
Well, I remember they used to sell them at Toys R Us.
They used
When
to
Toys
have.
R Us was the thing. Those
I mean,
were
Wonka
great.
actually has bars. You can go. They just
Yeah.
don't look like that big ass one from the movies.
Yeah, no, the ones at Toys R Us were like the ones that were in the movies. It was great,
Yeah,
but they were like a Nestle's Crunch type of bar.
well, yeah. Even in
So
the
dope.
even in the movies though, they have a bunch of different flavors and style. And in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original, he opens up a long one that is kind of like a long Snickers bar type too. You
Yeah,
know?
like a little. It's broken up and stuff.
Yeah, which is like, okay,
Yeah.
so they could be in any of the chocolates, like, or would it be those big ass ones that would
Oh,
accommodate?
I thought it was
a
only the
gigantic-
bars. I thought it was
so
only the
why the
gigantic-
fuck did he buy that?
He's stupid. Charlie was
Stupid-ass
dumb, dude.
fucking kid.
Kid had no
Stupid-ass-
teeth, and he's still out there buying chocolate.
Yeah, what was that? What was that?
That movie has so many things wrong with it, but it's great. I
But
love
like, I saw that picture just a few days ago. Like, they're like, Charlie shouldn't have been fucking eating chocolate. That's
it.
wrong.
No,
Like, were his
And
teeth
then-
pulled or were they?
it just never came in. I guess.
Fucking A. Is it like that one kid from Stranger Things? Just opposite? Because he has them in the front teeth or whatever?
Oh, the baby teeth. I just never. Oh, that kid creeps me out.
He got those fixed, I think.
Oh.
But
Well, you got Stranger Thing bunnies. You can do whatever you want.
I don't know. I think that kid's funny. I think he's one of the funnier characters in that show and shit. But yeah, we're spinning off all these other movies, but yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking it's definitely sticking closer to the original film, I guess, in terms of like style of like just film. I did see them put him next to Gonzo, I think it was.
Oh yes, I saw that comparison. It
He's
was
like,
like
he stole my
Willy
entire
Wonka.
fucking
He stole everything.
Paw for paw. Yeah, literally.
That fool raided Gonzo's closet.
Like,
That's what happened.
I mean, it's the same material. It's like it's the exact same color.
It probably is Gonzo's fucking suit.
Maybe it's a nod, you know.
Maybe
it's
they
like
they had to find the character, the actor to fit Gonzo's suit. They're like, we don't care how he acts or what he does. He just needs to fit this fucking suit.
like this guy that used to make fucking Xbox controller instruction videos on YouTube and shit. I think he's in the movie Dune. You know that, right? That kid used to make fucking like YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Chalamet, or whatever. Yeah.
Chalamet. Chalamet, everybody.
Yeah, he's good.
I don't know. I don't like the cast. I don't like the way the movie looks. It just
got it. He doesn't got that Wonka vibe, you know. And Gene Wilder, you can argue that that's a completely different take, but there's something about the way he plays that role where it's just like you're always unsure of what that, like,
is he being a dick or is he being honest? You know, like,
or does he have something planned? Is this all like, you know, like he has that mystery to them. I didn't get that when I saw
and Johnny Depp was just on acid the entire time.
Yeah, like
that was
a little bit too much. He went a little bit too far with that. The same thing with
I was
Mad
looking
Hatter
at just Googled Wonka bars, and there's actually Wonka bars with THC in them.
Hey,
right? So I think Johnny Depp was on those bars.
Hey. My man.
Yeah, 300 grams. 300
Yeah.
grams.
I don't think that the world needs this.
No, we don't. We don't. It's exactly what ran through my head. We don't need this.
I think it would have been perfectly fine if it was him doing it solo. But the second that I saw that there's going to be this annoying ass side character kid that's going to be tagging along and constantly saying shit for him to have really deduced conversations with in the film, I don't want to see it. Like even the way Tim Burton handled the flashback of his youth and shit was probably better. Where it's just like, you know, he's staring into the fire and he remembers the Halloween where his dad won't let him have candy and he throws it in the fire, and then later it shows him leaving, and then later it shows him the house gone, and then like, oh, he's left on his own, so now he's got to go find. You get the story through visual storytelling. You know, you don't need this whole thing. But now we're going to see him out there, you know, trying to hunt vicious canids and shit. So I mean, they're probably gonna have like oh, I'm working on the concept of a lickable wallpaper. Like they're probably gonna say something like that, and it's gonna be like, fucking goddamn it, bro. Like, why are you doing this?
Well, it seems like just based on the trailer, he's just trying to figure out what chocolate everybody wants. Yeah. And everybody's like, there's like chocolate snobs, or what did they say? Like the chocolate, it was like chocolate mafia.
The chocolate like cartel or something like
that. It was something like that. It was something stupid.
Which I mean, in terms of like local businesses, I could see that, you know what I mean?
I get it, but it just takes away from the story of Willy Wonka.
I think they could have ditched the kid and maybe focused a little bit more on that, maybe a little bit less like hokey.
Does he need a sidekick?
No, he doesn't.
No, right?
If anything, I always consider him to be like a loner, right? Like,
yeah, because he was by himself in his factory.
Yeah, by himself.
That's like the original stories. Is like, you know, oh, he's opening the gates again. Nobody's been in there for years.
Yeah, it was a mystery.
In the 70s movie, you know, like,
and then also you get the vibe too, where it's like it's a very like superficial approach. Like you in the original film, like, you know, he walks in, now you get a little bit of a show, and then after that, it just turns into regular rooms, you know, and it's a factory. It's you navigate it a little weird, but really, it's like this little amusement park when they first enter, where like the chocolate water and waterfall and all that, you know, the eatable grass, everything's edible.
Especially when you're on acid.
And then you go into the boat and then down, and then all of a sudden you're just in different parts of this
factory
R&D, you know. Yeah, it's very whatever. So I don't know, there's a lot going on there. I'm just hoping that he doesn't really blow it.
It's already done. It's already blown. It's already stupid. You know, you got Mr. Bean in it.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
and apparently he plays like a priest. He was a priest. What's a priest got to do with Willy Wonka?
Probably in town or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I like
Mr. Bean?
something. Yeah, what's his name? Atwood, right?
Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson. That's right. That's right.
Rowan.
I love that guy. I think it's fucking hilarious. I grew up Mr. Bean. I love it. Anything he's in, a gem. Protect that man. Um, so I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not stoked. Gene, it's gonna be hard to beat Gene Wilder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The reason the man did it was just so he could do that little tumble in the beginning when his cane
The
gets
cane.
stuck. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that's
like,
the
if I
greatest
could do
thing.
that, then I'm good. But yeah, moving on. Real quick here, Superman Legacy casting. I don't have it up, but we do have Nathan Fillion.
That guy's still around.
Yeah, he made a cameo in Guardians 3.
Yeah,
He was
the original
originally
Green Lantern.
well, he's going to be Green Lantern. He was originally going to play Star-Lord. Let me look.
Oh no, he
see.
voiced the original Green Lantern.
Oh, in the
animated series.
The animated series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with Michael Rosenbaum and Flash, who was also in Guardians 3. Guy Gardner
Isabella,
who he's going to be
Isabella
playing,
Merced.
right? It's Guy Gardner? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Nathan Fillion will play Guy Gardner, which is weird. I wonder if they're going to dye his hair red. And his bowl cut is that character. So you motherfucker better have some bowl cut going on, or we're talking about cutting some corners here. You know what I mean? It's Jason. It's James Gunn. So I mean, he's gonna probably stick as close to his probably. He's probably gonna make him dye his hair too, just to fuck with him. But he did make a cameo in Guardians 3, which didn't really surprise me when he got cast for this. I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's cool. He's a buddy. It's kind of a little nod. He's in Firefly, right? It's pretty decent. Not whatever. It's. I like the casting that's going on here. The guy they got for Superman looks like motherfucking Superman. Like there was a scene that I saw too where he's kind of standing there and he's lit a certain way, and I swear to God, it looked like Tom Welling from season 1 of Smallville and shit. I was like, that motherfucker is Superman, so this'll probably be good. I'm pretty stoked. I mean, we're probably gonna have a little bit of a halt on any type of filming or pre-production and that, but I'm pretty stoked for Superman Legacy. It's looking like it's gonna be pretty sick. An older Green Lantern with a younger Superman and Batman. What we're also hearing too is that this is going to be, because with this you have, I think, Hawkgirl was also cast. I think they Metamorpho, if I'm not mistaken.
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific has been cast too, which is crazy. Like you don't normally see Mr. Terrific reference and shit. But they're talking about it. They already said that it's going to be a Superman like year 2 type thing, but also that the world that Superman is going to live in this universe is familiar with superheroes. That this is not a foreign concept to them. That it's going to be a different reaction that you're accustomed to seeing in the films, where there has been no superheroes whatsoever. You might have vigilantes, but there's no like people flying around and shit like that, like in Superman, the original one, Donner films, like in Man of Steel. It's very foreign concept. In this one in particular, though, Hawkgirl's going to be flying around. Like you said, Mr. Fantastic and shit. We have Guy Gardner. These are all going to be characters that are familiar to the world, so people are going to be not as intimidated and off-put to the idea of this godlike character coming out of the sky to like, where there's a little bit suspicious and shit. So it's gonna be pretty sick.
Hawk Girl, not Hawk Girl. Hawk Girl is played by Isabella Merced, who actually played Dora the Explorer. Do you think she's gonna sound the same?
Oh my god. I mean, I would do it right now, but that would probably be clipped and like saved forever and shit. I've seen some like TikToks, or I guess Instagrams of TikToks where they're like people doing that voice, like some chick asking mom for a sandwich and shit. She slapped the face.
Have you seen my sandwich?
Yeah.
Oh,
and when
I
the thing
don't
with
know.
and the thing with Hawkgirl, Hawkman, it's those characters are immortal. We talked about it in Black Adam. Those characters are immortal. They're cursed in ancient Egypt to die and lose each other, to have to find each other again over and over and over and over,
Right.
for all eternity. And sometimes they remember their past lives, sometimes they don't. But that's their curse, is that they lose each other and have to find each other again over and over and over again. So I think that there's some heart there, and I'm pretty sure Gunn sees that from a mile away. You know what I mean? It's like the story of those two is like, that's easy pickings. You know what I mean? Like, that's, you can get some love stories out of that. You know what I mean? Like, the
Mm-hmm.
people eat that shit up. Like, Gunn's not stupid. He goes for the heart, right? Like, he goes
He
for the
knows what
heart
the
of a
people want.
story. Yeah, he's like, I need to get some attachment to these characters. So there's some characters here that are being brought in that are pretty cool. Guy Gardner would never see in live action. Um, fucking praying for that Ryan Reynolds cameo, but I don't think I'm gonna get it. So I mean, and there's gonna be multiple. There's gonna be more than one. I think Jon Stewart's gonna be in this. So I mean, you're gonna have multiple Green Lanterns, and then you're gonna have the Green Lantern Corps show where it's gonna be kind of like a space detective shit, where Nathan Fillion, right, is probably gonna be in it. Gonna be sick. I'm actually kind of stoked. Fucking James Gunn, FTW, bro. Um, a big one on here, but we won't talk about it for too long. U.S. judge denies FTC suit to stop the Activision Blizzard
Wow, wow,
acquisition.
wow, wow, wow.
The FCC filed, like, think like an appeal.
Yeah.
And of course they would. Of course they would. But I don't think it's going to go very much further than that. And then the CMA that same day was like, okay, we'll stop all litigation and we'll sit down and try to come to common ground. So it's probably going to go through, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that we spent like a year and a half of just speculation when it was so
Going
fucking
back
easy
and
to go. I go back to the very first time that I talked about this on the show, which I did. At one point, I clipped it. I remember, where it's like, this is all so fucking obvious that it's actually frustrating that people are like, just, they don't understand. It's like, you can't just choose to not have capitalism when it's convenient for you, motherfucker. Like, you can't do that. Like, it's going to the court because these people are trying to stifle capitalism. Like, and these are foreign companies that are doing this because they want them to not succeed. Like, it's very simple. It's an American company being attacked by foreign companies simply because they don't want them to succeed. And like, as an American, at the very least, I find that offensive. So obviously, I'm going to side with Microsoft. I have a fucking PlayStation. I have an Xbox. Like, I don't care about the consoles.
I
I
really
care
don't
about the
care what happens.
companies.
Yeah.
It's like, if anybody is gonna lose fucking business and employees and shit, it's, I'd rather it not be America and shit. Fuck that. So, like, obviously, like, I chose my side, but it was always clear as fucking day that a judge is going to be like, what are you talking about, bro? You have like 70% of the market. You have exclusives. You're paying people to keep their products off of competitors' platforms. Like, your arguments are mute. Like, they're fucking nothing. Like, yeah, you can bitch and complain, but it's nothing. You have nothing. You have nothing. So like, yeah, it's like, this is just drawn out and it's just gonna be fucking kicked around. But the FTC trying some shit, they're gonna get squashed, and then CMA is probably gonna be like, okay, well, if you promise that you don't overtake cloud gaming, I guess we're cool, and then the rest of the world will just fuck off, and then Activision will get at least another 10 years of life as Microsoft dumps money into hoping that they get their shit together. Because as of right now, I promise you, Blizzard is not worth the amount of money anymore. And the fact that they haven't renegotiated, it's about pride by this point. You know what I mean? It's the point that matters. So we'll see. But yeah, still getting drug on with that one. Spawn reboot rumored in the works at Blumhouse. Remember that old original Spawn movie
Yeah.
with, was it John Leguizamo? I actually liked that movie quite a bit. I
You did?
mean, given that character was shit, like the whole way he looked and like the CGI and shit. But I like Leguizamo in that character. I like the way he acted it. I like the character's like makeup and costume. Like, there's big parts of that movie that I actually really like. Like, obviously the movie is like, it's kind of dull, or the story is like kind of dull, and then like the CGI and even the way they shot it was very like Blade, like early era Blade. Still not with that polish that the MCU has, but I do like that movie in certain parts of it. And then I got my history with Spawn and Danny Mickey and him putting our little thing in Spawn issue, was it 148 or whatever. It's a long story. I think we went over at one point, but I got a little bit of soft spot for Spawn, so I'm down. Blumhouse making fucking like random shit now.
Well, they did Insidious, the one that just came out.
Yeah, but that's kind of in their wheelhouse. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
so
like,
I mean, horror wise, I mean,
well,
Spawn should be.
they're also, well, the thing is that they're venturing out into video games now too, and like they got Five Nights at Freddy coming out, and then he went on record saying that video games have a lot of potential for converting into another medium, which is like, oh god, I smell Resident Evil reboot. But now he's talking about comic books as well, right? So Blumhouse trying to pull out of your B movie, low tier A movie horror films and dramas, psychological thrillers and shit. And now they're starting to dabble with like action comic book films and video game adaptations and shit like that. So we'll see with Spawn. Of course, it needs to be rebooted. I think that there's super potential there. That whole story could be fucking dope. And if they did a crossover correctly, because he's crossed over with Batman a lot, I mean, a number of times, it'd be pretty fucking dope. Like, to be honest, like the contrast between those characters, and even like with Superman being there, like that'd be fucking weird. But there has been crossovers there, and I'd love to see that. So I'm down. I'm just not sure if Blumhouse is the one that should be doing it.
Yeah, Blumhouse probably figures, dude, with all the shit that's coming out right now, we can't miss.
He's like, we don't write, so we don't have to strike. We could just we use AI. We've been using it for fucking 10 years. People don't even know. They don't even fucking know these movies are shit. They still buy it. It's amazing.
Exactly.
So I mean, we'll see. Spawn deserves it. Last one on here, Allison Mack of Smallville, released from prison early
For doing what?
Let me see here. What does my note say? Trafficking and branding women. So if you haven't heard what next theme is, did you watch that, The Vow?
I didn't. I think Liz did. I
shit.
didn't.
It's good. It's good. You'd be like, what the fuck? So this guy named Keith Raniere had a self-help type of, clinic type thing, whatever. That was kind of entwined with Hollywood people. So, and big pockets and stuff like that. And Kristen Crook, my high school fucking crush of all time, because Smallville, whoa. She introduced Allison Mack to this dude. And then eventually Kristen Crook wasn't vibing on it and she dipped. But by that point, Allison Mack had been coerced and manipulated into becoming like a lapdog for this dude and the organization. And then very quickly like rose to like the number 2 position in this whole little cult they had going on, which essentially was about teaching women to be compliant, to be, lesser than men. And then there was like submissive. Yeah. And then like literally you should make me a sandwich as soon as I get home type shit. Andrew Tate shit.
And more than that.
And then there was a side crew where if you passed the test and shit and you got the offer, then you can join the little special crew who had the opportunity to fuck this guy at all times and shit, whenever he wanted it. And those women were branded with the initials of Keith Raniere and Allison Mack. So like this little symbol that had an A and an M, and then from a different angle was a K and an R. And they would be branded or like on the front of their hips and shit. And yeah, they were like basically like just like fuck slaves essentially. Like they got like live regular lives, however they had to do whatever he said at any time and shit. And he was really manipulative, and in the beginning you can kind of see it's like, yeah, okay, I could see how he could be a little bit convincing, and then towards the end you're just like, this guy's just like a fucking scumbag, like douche. Like, why are these chicks like even like their reactions to things he said at some point once they got comfortable was just like, bro, like fucking shut up. But they still held on, and then just the way that the industry was around this whole thing was like really kind of like suicide for your career, that type of thing. Bad reputation with other people in the industry and yada yada yada. And then it goes into, eventually people leave, then they try to like, get evidence, and then it turns into like a federal case, then he flees the country, and then
Oh
they get
no.
nabbed, and then fucking he's in prison. She goes to prison for like 17 years, but on good behavior gets out after like 5 or whatever, 3 or something like that. I recommend it, The Vow. It's on Netflix. Super good. It's like, it's just wild this happened. It's like, it really sucks because, she was like, she's mad cute, like in that show and shit at that age. I was like, yeah, whatever, she's whatever. And then he's like, oh, what? And, and then, she's all bubbly in the show and all this shit. And then you see this documentary and it's like, there's a clip from Michael Rosenbaum where he's on his podcast and, he played Lex Luthor on that show. So obviously a bigger role. And they didn't really like talk or chit chat out of work. And he said that she like randomly showed up to his house with a couple people, like a handful of people. And she just like knocked and he opened, he's like, hey, how's it going? And then she's like, hey, and then just walked into his house. And then they just started like eating his food and like doing whatever the fuck they wanted. And he was like trying to be cordial and they were just being like rude. And then he told them to get the fuck out. And, like that was the last time that like he had any connection with her. He's like, it was like super weird. She was all out of it and like just monosyllabic and very emotionless. And just, they were just like pissy. Like they were entitled to all this. Like they just helped themselves. And he's like, yeah, I just told him to get the fuck out of my house. And that was it. And that was the last time I talked to her. So he's like, it was fucking crazy to hear like all this shit, but it doesn't surprise me. So I suggest watching that documentary. There's a number of documentaries, obviously, that you should like check out and shit. But that's one of them where it's like, yeah, it's probably top 5, just because of how fucking crazy it is, and the fact that it involves the Smallville chick, and then Pete Ross from Smallville went to prison for fucking like drug trafficking and selling drugs on set and shit. Tight.
Side hustle.
So
Side
yeah,
hustle.
she's out, man. She's out there branding people probably already and shit.
She started all over.
Yeah, just ran down the street with a branding iron and shit. Ordered off Amazon, $45.99 and shit.
You're mine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I want to see like interviews with her. I want to see like what her vibe is. Like, does she regret it? Was she like out of her mind during all
Like,
this?
fuck
Like,
nah, do it all over again.
yeah, like I want to see where she's at with all that. So stay tuned. I guess we'll see where that bitch is at these days. But yeah, she's out. So
She apologized for it in her letter.
maybe I don't even think she did. Maybe, probably. I don't know. Whatever. I'll have to rewatch the shit. So that is it for the show, though. In terms of the stories we have, we got some free games that we can talk about here. I'm sure there are other stories.
Go get them.
But like I said, it's just too fucking difficult to wrangle them. So really by this point it's like, oh, that's big news for sure, and then I have to go search for the article and then just like, okay, so I have to find the news from somewhere else now, unfortunately.
You have to go look for link in the bio.
We would hit the link in the bio and then go to the picture and then click that so that it opens up another website and shit. Fucking stupid. But as always, got the free games, heavily discounted games as well. Just got a couple on here, just a notable mention actually. Train Valley 2, it's free on Epic Game Store until July 20th. It's top-down train/city builder type. It looked kind of cool actually. It was like $15 or whatever. I like those types of things. I'm like that. I like the Sim City. I like city skylines and Sims and shit like that. I like those. And this is one of those little novel build train tracks, make sure they don't hit each other, build town, that type of shit, So pass some time where, you got a J and you fucking polishing off a couple beers and shit, where all of a sudden 3 hours go by and you're like, what the fuck was I doing? I'm telling you right now, man, smoking weed and fucking building trains is a good fucking time, bro. It's a Trailer Park Boy reference and shit. It's whatever. But like I say, what do we always say around these parts? Free's a fucking good price. So go ahead and check that out. Free on Epic Game Store until July 20th. Kind of got that like almost like pastel pixelated look to it. So don't expect fucking COD and shit. You're not downloading Red Dead and shit. It's a $15 shitter game that you play when you're fucking drunk and shit. Next on here too is a note: GTA 5 has returned to Xbox Game Pass. To all you scrubs out there who have not played GTA 5 after over 10 years, you can go ahead and give it a shot. Also, I think I think armored truck robberies have returned to that game as well too. So if you haven't played in a while and you want to get on some easy money, just follow around, check
What?
for.
I'm gonna download it and stream it tonight.
Do you have it?
I played it a long time ago. Just re-download it.
Fuck, I don't even know where you would be at, bro. You're a decade behind and shit. What, on PlayStation?
No, no, I had it on Xbox.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, because Rockstar is so generous, they don't allow you to cross progress. So they don't let you to do anything. So you got to start over, anyways. That's like every time that I would install, I had to replay like the first mission because you can't start up multiplayer without going through that. And it's like, yeah, I got all the stuff in GTA, the oppressor and the terabyte and all that shit, but they just kept going with all this obnoxious shit in the game. So, you get a couple fast cars. Krieger is my main recommendation for the fastest four-wheel vehicle. Get yourself the fastest motorcycle and get yourself an oppressor ASAP, which only requires about $15 million and shit. But, once you got that, then you can actually pull off missions and not get targeted and trolled like constantly. The issue with GTA is that it's riddled with cheaters. Every single lobby, even if there's only 4 people in the lobby, one of them will be a cheater. It doesn't matter. And if they fucking dump your account with a bunch of fucking free money, then you get fucking banned. I'm sure that happens. So.
Yeah, I don't want to go through all that.
GTA Online is fun, but it's toxic as fuck and filled with cheaters. A lot less on console, but it is possible. So, buyer beware.
Payday it is.
I mean, GTA, though, as a game, single player, is top notch. Same thing with Red Dead. It's like, it's a must. The single player campaign is always fun. And because you're playing on console, you don't have access to 5M, so you can't even do that cops and robbers shit that I play.
Oh yeah, busted.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, busted. That's RP. Anything that's not out of the wheelhouse of what GTA is out of the box is done through modding and
servers.
Unfortunately, it's just PC, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We run exe files around these parts.
What are those?
And what is it? DMG files or whatever?
Fuck you, bro.
The fucking damage
one
output
click,
and shit.
bro. One click.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. No, PC's it can be pretty bad too. Corruption and all this shit, viruses and all that. But you gotta risk it, bro. You gotta live life on the edge if you want to play some of that fancy shit. You know what I mean? That's really the only way. Same thing with like modding a phone and shit. You really got to go with the unsafe option before you start jailbreaking shit. Yeah,
that was fun. And it's bricked.
Yep. Well, that is it for this week's show. Couple small things to talk about there. Not too bad. Next week, not sure if Garrett's going to be here. Kenny will probably be here. Not next week, but the next show. Not. Kenny will probably be here. I'm not sure if you'll be here. Probably. Garrett, if he doesn't want to make the time because there's not much to talk about because this whole strike, then he might not be with us, but he is scheduled to be and is more than welcome. So we'll see. And like I said, Comic-Con, it's got hit pretty hard with these strikes. Actors going into strike last minute. That one is in a couple weeks from now, probably 1st of August or something like that, whatever it is. Yeah, so we are out of here. Lucas, appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
And like I said, we'll see who's here, what we can talk about next week and all that good shit. Check us out on Threads and all that. You can find us at Nerd Chatter Show, Threads, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Find Nerd Chatter Podcasts anywhere you can find podcasts, including Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Spotify, and basically anywhere else. Hit us with a subscribe and follow there. Be much appreciated. All of our episodes are uploaded to the YouTube channel, where you can also check out, well, not there actually, we're on Kick now for our live streams. So check that out, a Nerd Chatter over there on Kick. You're Marauders, right? But you've already given up on streaming because
schedule wise, all right.
Got a week of no viewers, and all of a sudden it's just like
I had those 2 bots.
Shit. You can check it Marauders with a Z, and then myself is McFly, just like Marty. And we'll be streaming there. I stream probably once a week. We'll be streaming there at night. I played 5 hours of Cyberpunk last night. Probably gonna play another 4 or 5 tonight and drink a little bit, come chill. Yeah, that is it. So
I'll be on tonight. Don't count me out.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah. Bullshit. Anyways, we're out here. You guys take it easy.
All right. Have a good one.